Right now on the National Weather Desk, out of control, a rapidly spreading wildfire darkens the skies in southern Nevada.
It could start coming down at us.
The long cleanup. Weekend storms caused devastation in many communities.
When the trees actually fell, we actually felt the ground shake.
The heat is still on. Excessive heat warnings are still posted for millions.
You gotta stay in the shade, you gotta move slowly, keep the heart rate low.
New details on that elusive sea otter.
Otter 841's behavior might indicate she's sick.
Plus, a look at a very happy dolphin and how you can catch tonight's supermoon.
From our nation's capital, this is the National Weather Desk.
And good morning, everyone. Welcome into the National Weather Desk. I'm meteorologist Eileen Whalen. Well, a massive wildfire in California's Mojave National Preserve has now crossed into Nevada with extremely high temperatures and raging winds. The so-called York fire will be a challenge to put out. Now, the fire, which started on Friday, now covers roughly 120 square miles with no containment. Kristen Drummond is near the fire where people are coming to see the smoke for themselves.
Just heartbreaking.
Melissa Trasati holds back tears. She came to Walking Box Ranch from Henderson Monday to see the response to the York fire.
I needed to just kind of be able to take this in, to see these realities and digest it better.
Trying to process the devastation in the Mojave National Preserve, a place she's been visiting for about 15 years. Fire crews use Walking Box Ranch Road to access the flames miles away. Fire retardant placed on the ground here Sunday, a precaution to save the ranch buildings listed in the National Register of Historic Places. They were once owned by Hollywood stars Rex Bell and Clara Bow.
Thankful to see that there are some of these steps being taken. That's a good thing.
Meanwhile, the smoke hovers overhead, creating issues for some in Searchlight.
Just the smoke inhalation from when the winds are coming this way, it gets really bad. It's hard to breathe.
A similar problem in Laughlin and Bullhead City.
And because we're in a valley down by the Colorado River, it really kind of just socks in, and it really makes breathing and visibility quite difficult in Bullhead.
Steve Lawrence driving up from Arizona to see the cause of the smoke. He did not get anywhere near the fire, but like Trasati, it's a somber moment.
You don't want to see anything gone. Eventually it will come back, but not during my lifetime. So yeah, it's a sad state.
Well, several wildfires continue to burn in Montana. The Big Knife wildfire has grown to over 3,000 acres. A lightning strike sparked the fire, which is 0% contained. 40-mile-per-hour wind gusts are making it difficult for planes to drop fire retardant. Now, there are no current evacuation orders in place, but officials are warning people who live in the area to be prepared for anything. Several other fires are burning across the state, covering nearly 20,000 acres. Well, now to the tropics this morning, and the National Hurricane Center continuing to monitor two areas of interest in the Atlantic. The one that was off the Carolina coast yesterday is now in the North Atlantic. It's in yellow. The one directly south in orange that you're seeing on your screen has a 50% chance of becoming Tropical Storm Emily, but also doesn't pose any risk to land. Well, many roads across the Washington, D.C. region remain closed this morning, days after a powerful storm brought down trees and power lines. Officials say it will take days to reopen some of these roads since there are so many large trees blocking them. Trees also crashed into homes and onto cars.
For so many, the recovery process will likely take several months, especially with damage like we're seeing out here. But for other neighbors, they're not only dealing with the destruction from the storm, they're also dealing with short-term issues like power outages. This North Bethesda neighborhood, for instance, has been without power for more than 48 hours after the storm.
It's been like 100 degrees inside the house.
Well, here is a time lapse of the storm as it arrived in Washington. It produced the most damage the region has seen since 2013, when the derecho knocked out power to more than 2 million people across Maryland, Virginia, and D.C. Well, cleanup is also underway in eastern Iowa. A weekend storm took down trees, damaging several homes. Some areas reported 80 to 95 mile-per-hour winds that spread debris, forcing a few road closures. Now, there's a similar scene in Massachusetts where a tornado touched down over the weekend. Jody Reed has that part of the story.
The National Weather Service said that wind speeds got above 105 miles per hour, knocking out power to more than 200 residents in the Foxborough, Mansfield, and Easton area. Crews from each town worked through Sunday to remove debris from the roadway, and for the most part, the area is clear. Power has also been restored to all of those affected. What remains is the debris in yards, including several here on Windsor Drive.
Depending on circumstances, like whether septic systems are involved, will dictate what machinery we can get in here. Normally, a job like this likely will do mostly with ground crew, manpower.
So how many people will you bring in, and what will their jobs look like?
Our standard crew's like maybe 6 to 8 guys, because we like to try to really comprehensively attack it and get it all done.
Other communities like Brockton and Bridgewater also experienced power outages as a result of the storm.
The lights went off, all our phones went off. So then I cooked a little bit closer, turned on the news, and was tracking it with the news as well. It reminds me of like a hurricane damage, but just very isolated. It's just strange that it hits very isolated pockets. It was almost like little downbursts came through.
Thankfully, no injuries were reported.
Well, July will go down in the record books as the hottest month on record. From blistering heat in the Southwest to Southern Europe, records fell around the world. Now, one small bit of good news, Phoenix's string of 31 consecutive days at 110 degrees or more ended yesterday. Excessive heat warnings today are once again posted across much of Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, and Oklahoma. For more on the heat, here's Patrick Cornell.
Temperatures scorching above the triple digits across the United States as experts stamp July the hottest month on the planet in recorded history.
I just feel kind of, nauseated, and then I feel flushed. You can feel it. Your heart rate speeds up. Sometimes you have a little light headache and you just feel dehydrated and you got to have your water. So I have my water right here.
The historic heat wave intensifying in states like Arizona and others that have already experienced deadly impacts of extreme temperatures, prompting millions of Americans to heed excessive heat warnings from California to New York City.
You gotta be like a lizard on a day like that. You gotta stay in the shade, you gotta move slowly, keep the heart rate low. Otherwise, you're just gonna be sweating bullets.
The European Union's Copernicus Climate Change Service notes that global temperatures are likely the highest in at least 100,000 years, with the possibility of long-term effects.
You should be drinking every hour or so, getting 8 to 16 ounces in if you're outside.
The heat wave also hindering the battle against wildfires, intensifying in states such as Nevada and California, where the York fire has scorched 70,000 acres of the Mojave National Preserve. In this region, fire whirls or vortexes of flames and smoke are creating dangerous conditions for firefighters. I'm Patrick Cornell reporting.
Well, here's another reason to keep your eyes on the sky. Ryan Mirando tells us about tonight's supermoon, the first of two taking place this month.
Get out the binoculars and the telescope tonight. There is a supermoon, and this is known as the sturgeon moon, the point in the year where the fish in the Great Lakes, the sturgeon, are usually readily caught. But this isn't any old just full moon. It's a supermoon, meaning that it's the closest to the Earth, so it's going to appear larger and brighter in the sky. What you're going to want to do to get the best viewing experience is go outside right around 30 minutes after the sunset. It'll be low on the horizon and it'll look the best. Now, if you do miss this one tonight, there's another full supermoon at the end of August, and that one's pretty rare because it's a blue moon, meaning it happens on an average of only 8 years or so. So it's a pretty spectacular moon month.
Well, a couple of cool pictures from South Carolina. This one is from Surfside, where an impressive rain shaft in the distance is not stopping these two men from fishing for Sunday dinner. And here's another photo from the same spot. Now, this time it's a dark shelf cloud about to roll over the beach, and that's a sign when it's time to head home. Well, these pictures came from viewers just like you, and we'd love to see your weather photos and videos. You can share them with us via our social media accounts, which you can access through the QR code on the bottom left of your screen. You can also send them to your local station through Chime In. Well, a new episode of Off the Radar dropped this morning, as it does every Tuesday. And in this week's episode, Emily speaks with the woman who thought Wikipedia needed more entries about female scientists. So she wrote more than 1,700 of them. You can find Off the Radar wherever you get your podcasts. And coming up on the National Weather Desk, we'll look at why the weather is leading to more rare bird sightings in Wisconsin. Plus, we'll find out why sometimes the sky looks pink and other times it looks clear blue.
we're looking at a really nice day for much of the Northeast for today. The sunshine will be out to start, and then notice an isolated shower or two, mainly up towards northern New England and Maine throughout the day, throughout the afternoon. Again, most of the area is going to remain mostly sunny. We dry on out for Tuesday night, and then the sunshine returns for your day Wednesday. High temperatures today are going to top out in the 70s for most, mid-70s for Boston, Portland, and Albany.
I'm meteorologist Jasmine Lomax with a look at the mid-Atlantic region. The morning starts with nice and dry weather and plenty of sunshine. Then as we head into the afternoon, a few more clouds start to move into the region, but we stay mostly dry. As high pressure builds, we'll start to see those clouds clear, and it looks great for Wednesday morning. This afternoon, temperatures reach the 70s and the 80s, staying pretty mild. Then overnight, temperatures drop to the 50s and the 60s.
I'm meteorologist Vitas Reed. Here's a look at your southeast forecast highs for the day. We're seeing 90 degrees in Nashville, 93 in Birmingham, 94 in Macon, Jacksonville about 93 degrees, Raleigh 85, 93 in Tampa. We're going to continue to see more sunshine to start the day off, partly sunny to mostly sunny skies. But as we go through the afternoon, we have a few showers and thunderstorms across the I-95 corridor through the Carolinas, down through Georgia, through Florida. Also afternoon showers. Memphis, you could get some thunderstorm activity. Those will start to taper off later overnight, becoming clear.
The National Weather Desk.
Well, many businesses in South Texas are seeing fewer customers during the hottest part of the day. So as Amanda Henderson explains, many in San Antonio are adapting to encourage more people to visit.
There's no breaking or hiding from this heat.
Temperatures continue to break records or get close. Most of us don't want to be outside unless we have to be, meaning you might look for indoor options.
We're in South Texas. It's not going to get any cooler, but we're going to make the zoo a cooler experience for our guests.
With the San Antonio Zoo also being primarily outdoors, Hope Roth says they feel the heat's impact. To keep you coming, they've added cool zones, a creek, and more air-conditioned areas.
They had really, really much fun stuff.
Another place with stuff to do? Hemisphere. The splash pad always has a crowd.
Because I know when it has broken down, it slows down business.
Joey Rodriguez with Panaderia San Antonio says business overall has been steady. However, the record temperatures are impacting their outdoor area.
In the afternoon, they're more in the splash pad, not so much sitting outside.
Well, now imagine you have to spend hours in that heat every day. That's what high school athletes face as they get ready for the upcoming sports seasons. But as Adela Uchida explains, the Austin school system has rules in place to protect these student athletes.
Football practice across central Texas is heating up, literally.
It's very hot. Get up early in the morning and it's still very hot.
Across town at Westwood High School, the baseball players are already practicing for what is a spring sport.
It's hot, you know, like you're going like 102, 105. Like my select practices, it got up to like 105. We had to shut it down earlier.
Middle school cross-country coach Tim Necker.
So we start our practices at 7 a.m. in the morning for some of the kids, and then we also have an afternoon practice as well.
Says hydration is key.
We encourage them to hydrate along with their electrolytes, so water is not going to be enough. And so they need some type of sports drink.
The Austin Independent School District has heat guidelines. When it hits 100 like today, there's a maximum of 2 hours of practice with a 5-minute water break every 30 minutes. Above 105 and the max is an hour and a half and a water break every 20 minutes. Once it hits 110, outside activity is banned. Hot or not, the game will go on for young athletes.
And if it gets too hot, we go in the batting cages over there.
As well as a first game less than a month away.
August 25th.
Well, there is a new push to bring the green back to Greenville 2 years after a wildfire swept through the California town. Now, the goal is a complete beautification of the areas that were devastated by the fire. Right now, they're working on planting trees at homes that have completed rebuilding. Michaela Trammell, who is leading the project, says greenery is instrumental, not only to the landscape of the town, but to the recovery of the survivors.
I am looking to restore all of the green scenery that was there before, whether it's the fruit trees that the deer eat or the flowering bushes that the bees come to, anything that's going to bring back the sense of normalcy and peace, resilience to these survivors.
Well, the project is expected to last 3 to 5 years. Well, the sky appears blue on clear, beautiful days, but sunrises and sunsets can have an array of other brilliant colors. Meteorologist Violet Shibor explains how that happens.
Have you ever wondered why the sky is blue? Well, let's explain it. First, starting with the sunlight. It emits a white light that's composed of all colors of the rainbow. And as that light travels towards Earth, at about 18 miles up, it interacts with Earth's atmosphere and the air molecules that are in it. And each color of the rainbow has a different wavelength and interacts with the air molecules differently. So air molecules are just the right size to help scatter blue and violet light only. But we see more of a blue in the sky because that's what our eyes as humans are more sensitive to, that blue color. All of the other colors continue down to the surface relatively unimpeded. And the blue light, however, is scattered from molecule to molecule until it's reflected at you from all parts of the sky. Now, you may be wondering, why do we see red during sunset instead of blue? Well, that's because the ray of sunlight is horizontal instead of vertically directly above us. And that red wavelength gets scattered because it's traveling through more air molecules at a horizontal level. So that's why we see red skies at sunset.
Well, that sea otter that's been harassing surfers in California has yet to be caught, but it's a hit on social media, even appearing on clothing and merchandise. Now, while tens of thousands of otter fans want officials to leave the animal alone, Sophia Leos explains experts say the otter's behavior could indicate it's sick.
Mark Woodward, a local photographer who goes by the title Santa Cruz native, has been very outspoken about the capture of Otter 841. He says her behavior is odd, and he's never seen another otter in the bay act like this.
He's feeding right alongside the cliffs, which is unusual compared to the other otters off our waters. So, yeah, I'm just really worried that, there's something else wrong with her and, could actually threaten the rest of the marine mammals here.
Since July 2nd, the California Department of Fish and Wildlife and Monterey Bay Aquarium have been working together to try to capture the female otter. In a statement, the Department of Fish and Wildlife stated the behavior of 841 is concerning and unusual. With the unsuccessful captures, thousands of people across the world are trying to stop the efforts. A recent petition has been created to keep Otter 841 in her natural habitat. And because of the gained popularity, many people recreating in Santa Cruz have now been harassing otters.
Many times I have watched kayakers, paddleboarders, and even jet skis, which you're not even supposed to have them in that part of the bay, go right through kelp beds where the otters are resting, causing them all to flee and dive down. It really puts the whole population of them at risk.
Well, some Wisconsin bird watchers are excited about a rare and recent discovery in Green Bay wetlands. Eric Peterson has more.
Not many pink birds. It's either a flamingo or a spoonbill.
Naturalist Logan Lazay spotted the pinkish bird last week.
While I was looking out on a mud flat, this bird was actually hanging out with a flock of geese.
And so I started calling people.
Lizzie had seen a roseate spoonbill before, but not in the Ken Ewers nature area in Green Bay.
So this is a really large shorebird that's typically seen in the very southern part of the United States. There's breeding colonies in Texas, Louisiana, and Florida. And so for one to come up here, it's very rare. There's actually only 2 records now of this bird being in the state, and the last one before this was in 1845.
Based on the plumage, Lizzie says the bird is likely a juvenile, and recent weather events may have impacted the spoonbill's travels.
This year, there's actually been a number of this species kind of blowing around the United States. So it might just be a weird year where they're being kind of tossed around.
The spoonbill is attracting attention from birders around the area. Logan Lizzie says the spoonbill could feed in this impoundment for a couple more days.
Well, check out this dolphin off the South Carolina coast. A paddleboarder watches as the dolphin makes 6 straight jumps. Dolphins jump out of the water for many reasons. They may be communicating with other dolphins, getting a bird's eye view of the coastline to improve navigation. We'll be right back.
And most of the Midwest will be dry for today. Good morning, everyone. I'm meteorologist Sarah Converse. Going to be in the 80s for much of the Ohio River Valley. A little bit warmer, though, to the west, where we got 105 degrees of forecasted high today for Wichita, over 85 in Cincinnati. And then for tonight, looking at some comfortable conditions to the east, but a little bit warmer and rain chances over to the plains.
Good Tuesday morning to you. Meteorologist Chris Suchet. Look at our forecast today across the region, starting off with 70s and 80s. Real warm start to the day. Not much of a rain chance through the day with a big ridge of high pressure sitting right over the region. May get a shower storm around Little Rock, Arkansas, and West Texas. And we head into Wednesday's forecast, and again, really difficult pattern to get rain in the area outside, maybe a spotty shower storm, East Texas, Louisiana. And the storyline, above normal temperatures Tuesday, Wednesday, right into Thursday of this week.
Well, hi there, everybody. The big heat that has been in place over the desert Southwest is starting to migrate a little bit, starting to focus on Yellowstone and Jackson Hole instead. Look at 100 expected as we head into the first day of August out of the Treasure Valley in Boise. Still cool and foggy in the city by the bay with 65 in San Francisco. This big area of high pressure continuing to have a hold on the desert Southwest. Chance for thunder and lightning near Salt Lake City and Denver, too. And that's the scene from here.
The National Weather Desk.
Well, a recent study suggests that the waters off Cape Cod are one of the largest white shark hotspots in the world. Meteorologist Anthony Macari has more.
There were 800 individual white sharks that visited the waters off of Cape Cod, which suggests this is actually one of the larger white shark hotspots worldwide. That's good news for conservation. Probably not good news if you, of course, like to go out and do swimming, for example. However, do note it's more feasible to actually even track white sharks off of the waters of Cape Cod compared to, say, the center of the ocean, where it's a little bit less feasible just to tag them in particular. Shark numbers generally peak in late summer and through early fall, so we're getting to that period of time where the water is warmest, supporting some of those higher numbers. Now, still, the risk of a negative shark encounter is going to be low. below. They're continuing to go through the research to figure out more about that. And it's not like there are 800 sharks here all at once. We did see the number of visits increase from 2015 to 2018 over those 3 years, but it's expected that the shark growth is going to be leveling off.
Well, we want you to connect with us. You can find us on all your favorite social media platforms. Just search the National Weather Desk. We'll be right back.